Welcome to module 14.2. In this lecture video, I'm going to show you how to multiply and divide rational expressions. So, as you can recall, when we multiply fractions, okay, when we normally multiply fractions, like if I have a 4 over 3 times maybe like a 9 over 14. All right. When we normally multiply by hand, what we do is reduce the numerator with the denominator. Multiplication of fraction means reduce numerator with denominator before you multiply. So normally we can say the 4 on the top and the 14 in the bottom can be reduced by 2. So that will give me a 2 up here, 7 down here. The top 9 and bottom 3 can be reduced by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 will be 3. So once I completely reduced the numerator with a denominator, then we can multiply side by side, and that will give me 6 over 7. All right, so let me rewrite this a little bit, okay? Let me rewrite this a little bit. So I want to show y'all how to do this the same problem a little bit differently. Just look at it differently. 4 over 3 times 9 over 14. If I will break down 4 with a prime number 2 times 2 over 3 is a prime number already, so that would just be 3 times the numerator 9 is 3 times 3 over 14, we can say that's 2 times 7. So if I write them in factor form, okay, then we can clearly see 1 2 on top, 1 2 in the bottom can reduce, 1 3 on top, 1 3 in the bottom can reduce. And once we finish in reducing, we can multiply them side by side. And the reason why I roll it this way is to show you multiplication between anything is only one term. So we got to make sure our numerators and the denominators are one term over one term before we can reduce top with the bottom. Okay? So for rational expressions, we will need to completely factor each numerator and denominator because factor makes them one term. Multiply the numerator and multiply denominator, and then divide out any common factors. So basically, I'm gonna switch step 2 and 3. Okay, I'm gonna switch step 2 and 3. I'm actually gonna reduce them first and then multiply them side by side. So let me show you how normally how it's done, and try not to make this try not to write these things out too complicated. Basically we factor, then we reduce top and bottom. So 25a squared, every numerator and denominator is already one term, so I can go ahead and reduce them. So as you can recall from the quotient rule of exponent, if I got 2a on top, 1a in the bottom, they will cancel out. Then that should only leave me with an a on the numerator. All right, b squared on top, 2b on top, 3b in the bottom, they will cancel out. So that should leave me with 1b in the bottom, right? Exponent 2 minus 3 is -1. So b to the -1 will have to be flipped, okay, to the other side of fraction, so that will come to the bottom. I also see the 25 on top and the 25 in the bottom can be reduced, so that gives me 1 and 1. 4 on top, 16 in the bottom, reduced into 1 and 4. So the only numerical answer I have in the bottom here, or coefficient I have in the bottom, is 4. So my answer, a over 4b. So this problem I don't have to factor because all my numerator and denominator is already one term. All right, let's check out this one, okay? Let's see my numerator. 3t is already one term. 2t is already one term, so they don't have to be factored. All right, this denominator, 4 times s squared minus 49. I know it's already one term, but s squared minus 49 is a difference of squares. So if it is a difference of square, I can factor again. So I'm going to keep my two fractions, 3t on top, 2t down here, because they're already one term, I don't have to factor. So 4 still 4. S squared minus 49 should be s plus 7 times s minus 7. All right, this numerator, these two terms, the greatest common factor is s. So if I factor out s, that should be 7 minus s. All right, in the previous video, we mentioned factors that are opposite. Okay, that means they have opposite signs. So you see, this is a positive 7. Down here is a negative 7. Negative s, positive s. All right, so that means these two factors are exactly the same, just differ by a negative sign. So they should cancel out and give you answer negative. All right, what else can I factor out? Top and the bottom. What else can I cancel out top and bottom? Remember, 3t means 3 times t. This is 2 times t. So the factor of t on the top and the t in the bottom can also cancel out. So the only thing I have left on top is 3 times s. So when we multiply side by side, we just basically write out what we have left. So 3 times s is 3s over the bottom. I have a 4 times s plus 7 times 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. And then I still got s plus 7. So since I'm not going to multiply these two terms by 8, I'm just gonna keep my s plus 7 in the parenthesis. Okay, so that's your answer. Negative 3s over 8 times s plus 7. So I don't have to multiply, do my distribution every time. I can just write them as factor form. That will suffice. All right, so factor, reduce top and bottom, and then write them out. Write down what's left. So I keep s plus 7 in the parenthesis because I do have a coefficient or another factor outside. So s plus 7 got to be remain in the parenthesis. Now if I don't have an 8 up front, then I can take off the parenthesis and just have s plus 7. So it all depends what I have end up with for the top and the bottom in order for me to write it out. All right, let's factor this, okay? St, s times t is already one term, so I don't have to factor that. S is just one term, can't factor that. So other ones is the one I need to factor it out. So let's check it out. S times t over, all right, there should be an s down here. All right, the s squared plus 5s plus 6, that's a trinomial. So two parentheses right away. For s squared, I can use s and s. For the 6, I can use 2 and 3 because now my inner and outer combined will be 5s. So since the last term is positive, that means my two signs are the same. I need to be a positive 5s, so both of these got to be positive. All right, this is trinomial on the numerator. Let's see, for 4s squared, two parentheses, let me use 2 and 2 for right now. 21, I can use 3 and 7. Excuse me. If I use these set of numbers, 14 is on the outer, 6 in the inner. 14 and 6 combined is not going to be 5. So my next step is switch the backside number, but that will not make a difference since the 2 and 2 still is the same. So I'm not going to use 2 and 2. I'm going to use 1 and 4. So when you factor so much from the previous module, most students can tell, put the 4 right here, put the 1 right here, because that will give you an outer 7 and an inner 12. Outer 7, inner 12 combined will be 5 if I would subtract. All right. So when the last sign is negative sign, that means the choice is for the sign in the parenthesis got to be 1 positive, 1 negative. So to end up with a positive 5 in the middle, I got to have a positive 7 and positive 12 and negative 7. So my outer need to be a negative 7 by 1 times negative 7. So the other one got to be positive. All right, S and S. All right, now let's reduce top and bottom. So I got S plus 3 on top and bottom. That can be reduced. Let's see what else. 4S minus 7, S plus 2. That's not the same thing. Cannot reduce. Oh, S times T. That's 2 different factors. So the top S, bottom S can cancel out. All right, my insert. What I have left on top is T times 4S minus 7 over the denominator just have S plus 2. So I can leave the parenthesis off the S plus 2 because there's no other coefficient that's in front of it. So that just saved me some time. I don't have to type in an extra parenthesis on the homework. So that is your insert. That's all it is to it. All right, so when we do a bigger problem like this one, I suggest we factor a little bit on the side, so kind of get away from the main part of the body so we won't get everything all. So when we write everything out, it won't be too confusing, okay? So 4y squared plus 16y minus 48. Let's do this on the side. The greatest common between these three terms is it's a trinomial, but I do have a greatest common factor. Let's factor out a 4. So that's y squared plus 4y minus 12. All right, in the parenthesis, I have a trinomial, so let's factor again. Right, always check inside the parentheses, see if it's factorable. So y and y again, 12. That will be 2 and 6. All right, so to end up with a positive 4, I got to have a positive 6 on the outer, negative 2 in the inner. All right, so now I'm going to rewrite that over here. It's 4 times y minus 2 times y plus 6. Okay, all right, let's do the bottom. The bottom is pretty easy. Y squared minus 7y plus 10. For the y squared, that's y and y. For 10, I can use 2 and 5. All right, in my inner and outer can give me a 7 if I will add. So since my middle term is negative, both my inner and outer got to be negative in this case, right? Because positive means the signs are the same in the parenthesis. All right, let's do this one. 6y. Let's do this 6y squared one on the side real quick. Because I do see greatest common factor. Let's see if I factor out a 2. That's 3y squared minus 8y minus 35. Oops, sorry. All right, so let's see. Factor the trinomial. If I use 3y and y, 35 can use 5 and 7. So I'm going to put 5 right here, 7 right here, because I already see I need a 15 and the 7 in the inner. Subtract to get my 8. All right, so when my last sign is negative, the choice of a sign is 1 positive, 1 negative. Since I need negative 8 in the middle, I got to have negative 15 on the outer, positive 7 in the inner. That's how I can end up with a negative 8. All right, so let's write this back up here. 2 times 3y plus 7 times y minus 5. All right, so let's do the 3y squared one. I don't think the 3y squared has greatest common factor. So I'm just gonna say for 3y squared, I can use 3y and y. All right, what times what is 42? 6 times 7. But as you can recall, when we learned how to factor before, for 6 and 7, you don't want to put a 6 right here with a 3y because that can give you another greatest common factor that you don't have originally. So naturally, the 6 got to go with the y, the 7 got to go here. So my outer is 18, my inner is 7. So 18 and 7 in and outer combined will be 25. All right, since the last sign is positive, the choice for the sign in parentheses are plus plus or minus minus. So to end up with a positive 25, both my in and outer got to be positive. So now I have a 3y plus 7 times y plus 6 down here. All right, now let us reduce top and bottom. I see plus 6, top and bottom. 3y plus 7, top and bottom can be reduced. Ooh, y minus 2, top and bottom can be reduced. Minus 5 can be reduced. So the only thing I got left here is a 4 on the top times a 2 on the top. So that will give me my answer just simply 8. All right. So basically, in this lecture video, when it comes to multiplying rational expression, okay, we got to factor the numerator and denominator to make them all one term on the top, one term in the bottom. And once they are one term, then I can begin to cancel out all the common factors, okay, top and bottom. All right, that will be all for multiplying rational expression. Thank you for watching.